What can Rooney do? Member spotted, Rooney dropped, and Jake left alone.
Difficult situation for Jake and Rooney. The retake not quite working there. 100 Thieves able to hold on.
Well, let me ask you this, because we've seen a very similar flavor out from 100 Thieves so far, but this one worked. Well, what was different?
The difference being that they managed to get into good post-plant positions. I mean, whoa, Derrek.
Well done.
All good.
Sorry.
All good, don't worry. All good. That was actually planned.
Calculated.
Yeah, that was calculated. No, I think the big difference there being that Cloud9 were playing aggressive towards C and B, right? They weren't A. They were able to get an easy entry in, and then their players were playing very heavy post plants around tree, and there were no players there to disrupt the site from coming through in the first place.
There was no flank, there was no pressure from spawn.
Exactly.
What's the difference here from Cloud9? We talked about this a few rounds ago. This time 3, intending to pressure A.
Let's go.
We'll see how 100 Thieves handle this, as it seems like they aren't really interested in going that way at all.
Very difficult to challenge that early stun that Leaf's going to throw out there, but instantly going for a rotate.
They leave Jake at A. While everything, I mean, your Killjoy utility from Zellsis, you've got 3 members playing over at Waterfall 2.
So they're hoping to try and crunch players on C right now. Look at this flash going in, clearing areas, Cryo opening the door. Getting set up for some C control just through the door there would be a nice play had Cloud9 been playing aggressively in that area. But the defensive setups have been mixed up.
I think this was also intended to be exploratory from 100 Thieves, right? Apply a little bit of pressure, get Derrek in a spot where he can get his ult, and then use it. Now Seeker's invested.
This feels like an A hit too, and look where the spike is, complete other direction. But Zellsis is holding on, and he's going to be asked to do a lot.
Yeah, do they bite? Do they bite on the fake? As they invest the Seekers of their own. And it is going to tag a couple of members, so there is a false sense of information here of confidence that the hit is A.
At the same time, though, alarm bot triggered over on C, and Zellsis now, his watchful eyes poking towards that choke. And the Trailblazer clears out B as well. They're pretty confident this isn't going to be a pivot. It's going to end C. Here come Leaf, here comes Xeppaa, the cavalry's coming.
The triple pump fake is taking place. Cry the only one with fall. You can't imagine he uses it here. Zellsis is able to spam through the utility, through the smoke, to another kill. And it's clean from Cloud9.
What a shutdown. They always know where 100 Thieves are ending. I mean, they just have a ton of map control. And I think 100 Thieves are really struggling here to retake areas and threaten multiple places. The way that Xeppaa, I mean, the Trailblazer, to me, is the biggest difference between these two teams, which might seem like a small thing to pick up on, but Derrek is playing it right at the beginning of the rounds, flushing out anywhere that Cloud9 could be playing aggressively off the rip. Whereas instead, Xeppaa's using it to re-clear places and get them information when there's like a minute or less on the clock, and that helps inform their rotates. And so 100 Thieves, in some sense, are having to burn that really important piece of util because they're worried about how aggressive Cloud9 could be. And that's one of the advantages of playing the Neon. Sometimes the threat is worse than the action.
Interesting the way the pathing worked out. The setup is there for Cryo. He's able to get an opener in a second, too. This is very reminiscent to the opening round. They wanted to set Cryo up to make a play. This time he does.
But they've still been denied their access to the B site. And so, Rooney getting pressured here, jumping classics all over.
2 heads spotted. The third, no idea. Sucker punching him down into the next round.
There.
And there's where a measure of confidence can be very beneficial. Overwhelming.
He doesn't ult here, right? Surely not.
I don't think it would help him.
3 members. Brutal setup. He doesn't even check. Oh, dear. Oh, no. What was that? 1v3 here. Jake falls.
Wow.
Wow. That was uncomfortable.
But an unexpected eco round for 100 Thieves to be able to pull out.
Yeah.
Cryo finally having a moment where he's able to really flex his muscles on Jet. That's what they were trying to do on the pistol, absolutely. Like you said, Doug. Set Cryo up for one of those aggressive plays. But they've really struggled to get a read on where that vulnerable spot is. And I think they found a nice avenue there, being able to get into that BC connector. There's often going to be a rotate player there. There's often going to be a Killjoy that can't really look after themselves if they're getting overwhelmed with flashes and stuns. But I don't really see anywhere else on the map where they're going to be able to make a play like that work.
I do think, though, if you're 100 Thieves, like you continue to trust Cryo, right? Like you continue to try to set him up, and maybe you're poking and prodding to try to find where he can find some success, but you continue to put the ball in his hand, surely.
Yeah, I mean, part of what they're doing actually is playing quite slowly in most of their rounds and not really having him explode in with a lot of utility. So maybe that's an adjustment that they could make.
Sure.
try and play very aggressive in post plants as well. You know, have one of those slow rounds, see if you can get a plant down on A or B, and then decide to go for some aggression. Push stairs with Cryo, or, you know, push into the A-B connector if you plant on B. There's many different ways in which you could play that and allow him to be aggressive.
Yeah, scale up a little differently. Folks, I'm being informed that there is a game issue. There are players who are reporting some lag on stage. So as soon as we get that figured out, we'll get it rectified, situated, and get back into the action early. If you are just joining us, this is map 1 of this best of 3. Cloud9 have kind of caused fits for 100 Thieves as they hold on to a 2-round lead.
Cloud9 have been causing fits for quite a number of teams, actually.
Yeah, they have.
Overperforming expectations, I think. People were, you know, looking at this squad and, I mean, they're playing with a collegiate player. Their IGL's just come in from tier 2. Surely they're not going to be able to accomplish too much. And actually, this team is looking tight, drilled. I think MCE's done a great job, as of the core from Cloud9, of being able to integrate these new players and play well around a new system. And I think the tech pause allows me to weave a little story for you, Doug.
I do love a good story.
Let me weave a little story here. So, about a year ago, Cloud9 played against 100 Thieves.
Oh, we're going back.
Oh, and you won't believe who was playing. I mean, it was a blockbuster battle of Zeta for Cloud9 playing against Eccles and Baby J for 100 Thieves. So, I mean,
we're going back.
We're really talking ancient history. But I think, if you think back to what happened last year, Cloud9 made a roster move that a lot of people didn't quite agree with, and the ship slowly sunk. Whereas that 100 Thieves team had a Viking funeral. They just torched the entire thing, and they rebuilt. And they were actually able to benefit from Cloud9's slow slip away from relevancy in 2022 because there was a spot open at the top.
Sure.
And I think that has really carried through its thread into this game. If you think about that rebuild from 100 Thieves, what an opportunity that was for Bang and for Stellar to really show themselves at a tier 1 level, to go to big events, and they grasped that opportunity. And I look at the players on the other side here. Runi especially is in a similar spot. And Jake has been given, I mean, an opportunity you wouldn't even believe as a collegiate player to play at a tier 1 level and see whether he can hang and get that experience and perform on a top level. And they just have to look across the stage to see what could, you know, what the future might be able to look like.
Yeah, what it could
if
be.
they can take grasp of this opportunity.
And I want to go back to, you're just mentioning Jake and Rooney and how exceptional they've been. They've answered the call every week, right? There were almost no expectations for this squad. Let's be honest. There was a lot of doubt. There's no way these guys can execute on the big stage. They're so young. How are they going to navigate the pressure? The fact that they should be getting out called by these world-class IGLs and everything that comes along with that. And man, they've answered the call, not just in their individual play calling, in their macro, but also their individual play making. Right, like they've been exceptional, especially Rooney.
Especially Rooney, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Being able to IGL at this kind of level, I mean, Rooney just looks like a tier 1 pro.
Yeah.
And he was on the up in the tier 2 scene and had that kind of package, but to be honest, not on too many people's radar.
No, not at all.
I think that's where you really see the brains behind this Cloud9 squad are coming from the coaching staff, and specifically, I mean, you look at the track record that MCE has of being able to find hidden talents. It's unreal. It's unbelievable. His scouting experience is fantastic. And yet, in the coaching head-to-head that we've got here of MCE versus Mike's has beaten the last 3 times.
3 times.
3 times. 100 Thieves been able to get the better end over the guard back when MCE was with that team.
Yeah, once again, this series really just kind of subverting expectations across the board. You weave together such a succinct narrative around Cloud9 and how they've gotten here, the roster changes and kind of everything that's gone in between. And yes, Cloud9 can look across the stage and see what's potential, right? What's possible, namely in the eyes of Rooney and Jake. And for 100 Thieves, I think there were very high expectations for this squad. You come in, you're only changing 1 player, which on paper should have been a considerable upgrade. Yeah. And bringing Cryo in, and they've looked okay.
I mean, actually, Hiko was on that team a year ago, so you can watch the VODs if you like. You'll find Hiko playing. But yes, I think for 100 Thieves, the expectations have definitely been adjusted in these 3 weeks. You heard Dash and Athena talking about it on the desk earlier during the pre-show, and Athena said by this point in the split, week 3, you kind of have a sense for who you are as a team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of how things are going. And I think the fans for 100 Thieves have had to adjust their expectations a little bit, and probably the players have too, because it wasn't all plain sailing. They managed to get a reasonable distance at lock-in, but they weren't the explosive powerhouse team that we expected them to be, that they'd showcased in the offseason at Red Bull 2. So at this point, it's about showcasing that you can become that you can fulfill your potential.
The other thing very quickly about a single round robin is that it doesn't have to be pretty, right? As long as you're walking away with the dub, that's all that matters. We're going to throw this over to our YouTube channel. Actually, on our YouTube channel, you definitely want to check out Unstoppables, a brand new documentary series that chronicles VCT Americas. And you know what? We got a little teaser. Here's a short look at the very first episode. Enjoy.
Opening day is really fun because you get to see like all the fans here in North America. People being close while you're casting is awesome. People reacting to the stuff on screen, to the players that we haven't seen. TenZ having a crowd is just really cool. So there's people who are excited to see him after, what, 2 years, essentially.
I'd heard a lot of things about TenZ, some really good, some really bad, and I couldn't put my finger on it, and I came here, and I can tell why people love him. His mechanical skill, I think it is the best I've ever seen in any game I've ever played. His playstyle, I would say, is kind of chaotic at times. Like, right now in practice, we're like pulling him back. Like, he'll get one kill and then he'll be like, okay, I'm getting another. And you kind of have to rein him in a little bit. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to like fine tune him. We're trying to like rein him in just slightly, just so we don't like kill his confidence or his skill, but just enough where it's more about the team.
But it's not done yet. It's now 2v2 here. Blades in play for TenZ, and they're good. Can Cryo do this by himself? No, he cannot.
Let's go. Look at this pistol again.
If we get this pistol, we fucking win this game, all right?
Yeah, let's go.
The defuse comes through as Sentinels get to 4.
It's funny that we're playing with 3 champs on one team. When you have guys on your team that have actually been there in the finals, there's something that you gain there with experience and confidence, and then when you step onto the stage again, you kind of have that in the back of your mind that like, I'm a champ winner. Like no one can mess with me today.
They don't have any main control. Cryo's already fallen too.
I think that's the difference that's going to happen on the stage when we play 100 Thieves is that Tyson is sure that he can win. And Cryo's like, he's almost there, but is it fully true?
Trying to find some way into this round, and Cryo's just holding.
I mean, it's a 5v3.
He's just holding.
Kill delivered. Oh my gosh! Dude, this was a Herculean save from Sentinels.
Let's go OT, whatever happens, happens.
Omen backside shot.
Coming up to you, yeah.
Bang actually ulted into the KCO right now.
I mean, that could be it. That could be the device. It does get destroyed.
Right side.
Can Stellar hold it back?
Nice!
No!
Oh my god, good job.
Unreal!
I love you. I love you, husband. I love you too. Thank you for overtime. You're good, man. You're good. I did shook your hand. You're good, man. You're good. Guys, you gave us OT.
No pancada here on this late lurk. You see the flash, you see the dash, but there's no clash. There's no follow-up out from 100 Thieves. Bangs is the first to fall, but he was there by himself. TenZ with another. Huge out from Sentinels. It's too easy. 14-12 in the series in favor of Sentinels.
And it's Sentinels who comes out on top in the Battle of NA.
Damn, that's crazy.
Ellie, it's only been one series, but for now, Sen City rules this land.
That was an absolute banger. I mean, 2 really close games right off the start, and then we got to go to map 3, and again, another really close game. I think people are very happy with the performance of Zekin. I think people are very happy with the calling of Def, and then TenZ was TenZ. That guy was electric. He was really, really good.
If you enjoyed the content, you want to see more, make sure you check out our YouTube at Valorant_Americas. Josh, I heckin' love TenZ, so any more TenZ, any more Def, and any more Ballas, that's a win.
Yeah, and I mean, Nature looked like he was ready for another Viking funeral again there, didn't he?
He was stopped from destroying the desk with one hand.
Yeah, but that was a heartbreaker for 100 Thieves, letting that one slip away from them. And what an individual performance from Zekin, from TenZ. And I think that in the back of their heads, they might be concerned that this series could go a similar way, because you've still got that same level of firepower for Cloud9. Players like Leaf and Xeppaa in particular can do what Zekin and TenZ did to 100 Thieves. And on top of all of that, you know, the obvious game plan that's come in from Cloud9 on Lotus, so far working fairly well.
I mean, we talk so much about Xeppaa and Leaf, and for good reason, but I think another player that has to be highlighted for his ability to be so flexible in the roles that he's asked to play and his ability to deliver in those specific roles is Zellsis. This time on the Killjoy, and much like we've seen historically, the guy can play Phoenix, he can play Killjoy, the man can play everything.
Yeah, he's been playing a large array of different agents, and I think, you know, all of Cloud9 really deserve the credit for making this system work.
Right.
Because they were put in a challenging situation with only, what was it, a couple of weeks before.
Not much.
Yeah, a couple of weeks before the Americas League kicked off. So the fact that they're competitive with these kind of teams is incredible. It looks like we're about to head back into the game, though. And so just to recap, we've seen Cloud9 with a very good defensive side so far. 100 Thieves being able to pick up a round by Asuna spamming through the smoke in round 3. Then round 6, a pretty nice A take. And most recently, Cryocells going very deep on an eco with multiple flashes. This looks like a big clash over towards C again. 100 Thieves really looking to stamp their mark on that area of the map.
Which is funny because this is where Cloud9 has explored previously. It was just other than that spam that you were just alluding to that Asuna found at 2K. It's really been Cloud9's land. But this time, 100 Thieves, quick to go. Rolling Thunder used once again, not going to hit anyone. So they're going to take the space and they're going to fight for a retake. They have Rooney's Pit and Leaf Salt as well.
This is also quite similar to the way in which they won around on A. A very big push in. Stella reading the flank on Leaf here.
Yeah, but the turret was there, and I don't know if it got recalled or what, but Leaf's going to be able to scale up so much further without it.
I mean, look at the pings literally at Leaf's feet. They know exactly where he is. And they're reflanking the flank. Bang is in the A lobby.
He committed to the ult. The flash is there, and Stellar wins it out. That was very close.
This means that the entirety of 100 Thieves are going to be playing the spam. What is that shot from Derrek?
Xeppaa on the tap, not committing to it. Rooney playing on the other side of smoke. That's a free one. Now left in this 1v3. The tap, the fake, and the reposition. Cryo gone hunting, looking for a little something.
But they know he's not on it.
Oh, that's loud. It's just not enough. I mean, that was a difficult situation regardless for Rooney, but well handled by Cryo.
And that's now 2 rounds. Half of the rounds that 100 Thieves have been able to get are off the back of breach ulting into a site and then being, well, actually, I think the previous one was without a breach ult, but a big exec into a site and then being able to get into good post-plant positions. And if they can use their utility to stop Cloud9 from harassing them as they transition into those post plants or get into the site in the first place, that seems to be the win condition. Cloud9 have actually not been able to pull off the retakes.
Still have a couple of tools here, but it's pistols for 3/5 of Cloud9.
Surprising too that Leaf has a Phantom here. Looks
With the
like
ult.
paused as well though. But yeah, he has his ultimate online, so definitely opportunities for them to make murder happen across the variety of players that they have in different positions on the map. But so far, 100 Thieves are really finding an answer here that's working. And to me, Doug, the big difference is the pace change. They were playing so slowly at the beginning of the half, and they didn't really understand where on the map they were supposed to be fighting for, how they were going to take that space. And instead, they've just turned the dial up. And, I mean, in the previous round, they just go towards C instantly, breach ult, boom, got the plan. No messing around.
Just that easy, right?
Yeah.
Just have the breach hold every round and you'll be fine.
Well, they're about to have Stellas in another couple.
But I do think it goes down to the pace change, as you were mentioning. It was Asuna's ult. 2 out of the 4 rounds that they've won have been off of that. One of them was Cryo finding space and able to get a 2K with the blade. So they're starting to find success in different places. You are not being trolled, by the way, those who are watching at home and here in the studio with us. That thing is still stuck at 1 second, the longest second. But we will get back into the action here as soon as we can. You mentioned the Phantom out for Leaf, who with ult in play chooses to go with that. And yeah, I think that's a surprising decision as well, Josh.
Oh, it's actually quite difficult for Leaf to find value out of the ult with how slowly 100 Thieves have been playing. So if 100 Thieves commit to an area, you might see him, you know, drop the Phantom, decide to invest the ult and go aggressive. But, you know, more so than that, I think what I'm looking for here is 100 Thieves to continue this adaptation that's working really well for them. A lot of people have been asking questions about 100 Thieves ever since Sean left the team about, yeah, well, you've dropped some of the structure. You've given more freedom to players like Stella to call how he would like to call as the IGL. And how has that materialized into wins? You know, where's that come from? And I think here it's been a decent example of, you know, Stella actually finding a good counter in the middle of this map to what Cloud9 were doing.
That's a really good point, because that was the biggest change, right? The biggest difference with the coaching personnel change and how you're putting so much more agency into the hands of Stellar to be able to call the game the way that he wants. There's a quick timeout being called for Cloud9 here. But you're right, he is starting to find some success, and this is what you want Stellar to be able to do. You want to put him into place to get a read on the game, a read on the situation, and then adapt accordingly.
I always love the signs we got here. So we've got a 30-second timeout for Cloud9, and then we'll be going back into the game. So that's an interesting one. We're more than halfway through this first attacking half for 100 Thieves, but it's been slow paced so far. Yep. I mean, it's disjointed. It's difficult to actually get into the flow of it if you're a player in this kind of situation. You know, you have so much time to think and overthink situations. But certainly, if Cloud9 want to win one of the maps dominantly in this series, I think it would be Lotus.
Given what's on the rest of the series, yeah, I would imagine. So, right back into the action,
Right
round
there.
10 live, and Cloud9 taking space. Oh, they flipped Jake in a cheeky little spot, but it got pinged instantly.
It did, yeah. I think, though, this is one of the situations where previously we've seen 100 Thieves contact in, and I was worried about it. But Derrek now actually using the Trailblazer to be able to get that one out. I think that's a great use. There are players ready to back Jake up, though.
Yeah, the Phantom being one of them. We talked about it in the hands of Leaf. Bang. Waiting to strike, smoking off. As you see, Leaf has crept his way up towards tree. Perhaps expecting aggression there, but it never comes.
I think this is a great situation to move a little further forwards as 100 Thieves and go into a B pivot. You know that they're on an eco, they're much more likely to gamble stack. And the Seeker's being used here. Derrek just clearing out the entirety of the B site, knows that there's nobody here.
But do they commit to it? I don't know if the panel's broken or not, but it seems like, yeah, they just went through it, so they are going to flood into B. And all of Cloud9 is already here.
But remember, when 100 Thieves have been able to get into post plants, it has been good for them. Choosing passive post plants, though, at least everybody other than Asuna who gets team blinded.
And Cryo's still playing back wall. Huge kill out from Xeppaa. Do they go? Leaf still with the Phantom. They're sticking with it. It's paying off as Bang falls. Jake on the tap, Stellar on the spam. It's just a bit left. He's gotten it halfway. He's going to stick it the whole way. 75%, 80, 90. He sticks it all the way down.
Not a bullet of damage done in the middle of all of that. And that's the first successful retake for Cloud9 there.
And it was with lighter weaponry.
Yeah, that one looks rough for 100 Thieves. There are moments like that that have been hurting them so far in this split where, I mean, specifically Asuna's position, he's got nobody to play off.
Yeah.
And I think playing aggressive post plants are great if you actually have, you know, Cryo there and there's two of you ready to fight up aggressively towards spawn. But instead, it's just one player isolated.
Cover going out.
3 from Cloud9 fight over Mound to begin the round, and 100 Thieves take rubble control. This is the area that they cleared out in the mid-round previously. And I think the fact that they put in a heavy emphasis here early on indicates to me they're just going to go for a big A exec. Stellar's ult online, rip the lockdown and go A.
Jake has already gotten all the way through C. He's all the way into spawn. There's an alarm about to cover him. But there's the lockdown.
And this lockdown now gives him the perfect timing on the flank. Yeah. He knows exactly when he should be trying to aggress.
Here.
Oh, it's just a bit away.
But this is perfect. I mean, he could potentially teleport past this, get a timing past it, smoke it. Oh, unfortunate for Jake. Just based on Stellar going in and out of range.
You got to be careful here if you're Jake. If they decide to re-aggress, if 100 Thieves do, you can push him off, but he's just going to be a nuisance. Derrek has already fallen. Jake's being so pesky, and he gets 2 clean shots out from him. The third. Oh! Cryo not able to respond in kind.
What a round from Jake, considering his positioning was given away by the alarm bot, to still perfectly coordinate with the rest of his team. One applying pressure from the back while the rest take space up front. Those are plays and those are timings you do not expect from a collegiate player being thrown into Tier 1 Valorant.
I mean, you imagine the comms in situations like that. You've got the lockdown, you got to navigate, you're trying to figure out timings. Oh, the alarm bot spotted me, I wasn't able to smoke it off. But you're right, they handle it so beautifully. That would be a perfect like open mic session, by the way, for the content piece. Very good suggestion for it.
And now final round of the half. 100 Thieves looking to try and recover this. 7-5 would be a great result for them, considering how things have gone.
Agreed. Agreed. We may go a full half without seeing Leaf Salt. He's had it for a while, still does.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time he's had his gun in his hand, hasn't he? And this is a big push coming out from him and Jake.
He's got the wall, and there he goes. He's swinging around, Lightning McQueen and Kachowing his way to a kill, but instantly traded back. Asuna with an awesome response.
And Xeppaa and Runi don't know exactly what to be doing here. Still clearing things out, still trying to provide information for Zellsis. And the timing here could be good. Derrek was just glancing behind him, but hasn't seen anything. And now they're going to be coming within range of where Zellsis can hear.
Runi doesn't have orb, so they're going to have to either navigate through B, through the panel, or just get hit by the bot. That's exactly what they do.
He gets out! Asuna managed to grab both ult orbs in this round, though, and he has his Rolling Thunder online. So, 2 big initiator ults. One good for post-plant aggression, the other good for the retake. They might end up just cancelling each other out, but the Seeker's used to see if anyone's in cheeky forward positioning.
Look at Zellsis' bot. Yeah, it just got cleared out in tree. They're able to take care of it. Now the Seeker's starting to funnel there as well. You can see the Rolling Thunder. It's procced. It's ready to go. It's been a key to their success for 2 of the 4 rounds that they won. Can they secure a 5th?
Was that a bit too early, perhaps?
Possibly. Possibly. Rooney's on the tap. Derrek waiting close by, trying to spam through the utility. The orb goes down. The kills go up for Cloud9 as they get both.
What a play by Cloud9. Love the way that Runi is using his Viper Orb there to drop it and choose his timings to fight in tree. What a beautiful half by Cloud9.
I mean, exceptionally well played. If they decided to scale into it, they were going to be decayed. It was so beautifully played by Runi. So well played by Cloud9 as well. An 8-4 lead, taking us into halftime. Let's look at that one more time, Josh.
Yeah, I think this double setup, isolating one kill at a time, it's just excellent. And the fact that Asuna had his ult online but still wasn't able to win the post plan. Credit to Cloud9 how they play around that.
1000%. 4-round lead. Let's throw it down to the desk. Dash, are you impressed with Cloud9 or worried about 100 Thieves here?
Well, I'm impressed, but I don't know if my opinion matters at all. 8-4, though, as they mentioned, is the scoreline here. And that last round got a little sketchy for them. But let's talk about the defensive setups here for Vans that let them build this bit of a round lead.
Yeah, at the same time, I want to talk about how disciplined this Cloud9 team is, right? We see a different composition coming out of this roster, and at the same time, how they could actually counteract against a lockdown that comes through. I mean, pay a lot of attention to that minimap as how far back they are, but besides that, you still have Leaf that plays very close enough that tries to time into relay builds to delay, as well as you have Sky Flashes and a Trailblazer to counteract on a Molly. So that cancels out any type of pressure you're trying to bring into the attack for 100 Thieves, whereas even for C9, outside of that ult, they've just been really good on how they're setting up their positions defensively to continue that delay.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of delay is insane. And going forward, I think both these teams are really going to have to consider how to kind of counter these comps. I mean, the delay actually stopped a lot of the post plans that 100 Thieves were trying to do, but 100 Thieves kind of tried to get it down. But obviously, last round kind of sending that ult too early, sending their util too early, just kind of lost them that lead. And so going forward, I think 100 Thieves is really, really, really going to have to be playing that retake kind of setups. They're going to have to be careful about the Viper ults, the Viper wall, the Viper gas, kind of waiting to see when everything is down and when everything is ready to go, because the amount of util they have as a team is just insane. But again, unless they time it right, and we saw that they kind of didn't that half. They started to kind of falter towards the end. Unless they time it right, they will not be able to play this retake setup that I think they're going to try to aim towards from the defense side.
Timing is everything, right? Timing is everything, but both of these teams looking to get it done here on map number 1. It is a 4-round lead here for Cloud9. We'll see if 100 Thieves can make up that difference on the back half of the game as we head back out to our casters, Doug and Sideshow.
Thank you so much, Dash. Yeah, a 4-round lead for Cloud9, but I think, Josh, I want to turn eyes towards Cryo because he is the star for this 100 Thieves roster. He should, in theory, be a bit more comfortable on the side, no?
Yeah, I think he's a defense-sided player. You can see him with a Sheriff in his hands, looking to take a fight directly against Leaf over here at C to begin.
Leaf's already gone up. The fault line perhaps a little late in every single shot. This is...
Whoa, Leaf
gets 2. Second! Bang trying to do a bit of the same. He gets 2 of his own. But through all of that, Jake is the last one standing.
And the way is open on C here for Cloud9. Stellar and Derrek with only classics to their name and a single flash. I just don't see how this is going to work for them.
Yeah, borderline impossible, you'd imagine.
Stella might try and take a timing here.
He saw him, he saw him, he spotted him, he dropped him. Are you expecting Derrek to be coming the same way? Maybe not, but when you're facing 3 guns, and that's gonna hurt. That doesn't feel good.
No more.
He's gotten it down to it.
It's a very good try by Derrek, but just too many people opposing him. The 1v3, not quite manageable. What a start there for the half, as we saw Leaf and Cryo clashing on Mount, and Leaf dominating that matchup with a Ghost. The first shot, a body shot onto Leaf, causing him to duck away, and still able to get 2 repeats and take out, you know, the big 2 aggressive players there, Cryo and Asuna.
Well, and I think there we see the benefit of running a Neon is Leaf got ahead of the fault line from Asuna, so he was able to take that fight clean.
Sure. And it looks like 100 Thieves are putting a heavy C crunch down. I mean, a paranoia setup here for Bang. They had a fault line ready. Cryo, Stella could have fought that. And Cloud9 avoid the entire thing just by choosing to take a right out of spawn instead of a left.
Nothing quite like guessing correctly. Look at how far up they've scaled to.
It's great to be good, but it's better to be lucky.
That's what they say. Trailblazer through the smoke, Derrek spotted. You wonder here with how much space they've taken, they really have no idea that there's only 1 player here.
Leaf's push here, great in some kind of rifle round or maybe a bonus round. Slightly worried he might give a Bulldog away, but he's also hearing everybody from 100 Thieves pathing up into heaven. Only Cryo going to check. And that means no jet.
No jet. Runi hit that shot onto Derrek. Bang and Asuna both so weak. If you're Cloud9, excuse me, you want to get through this cleanly, and they do. Runi with 3 on the round. Does Cloud9 get to 10?
I'm picking up both pistols here, Cloud9. I mean, that really should cement the map for them. A 6-round advantage going into their bonus. They've been looking great. 100 Thieves have got such an unbelievable comeback if they want to make this one doable.
Especially on the defensive side. Josh, you mentioned it at the beginning of the map. This tends to lean towards the attacking side, so Cloud9 really should have all momentum.
Yeah, especially in Americas. The attacking teams have been finding so much more value. You can see an early fault line here designed to push Runi away. The rest of Cloud9 looking like they want to take some B control with a turret to stop anybody from fast flanking through C. Now, 100 Thieves in general are going to play very retake heavy. And on this map, maybe they need to challenge. Instead of just giving up sights, you can see Cryo, Derrek here with a bit of a crossfire setup, playing off the alarm bot contact.
Oh, that's free from Derrek, spamming through and getting 2.
Ridiculous.
Seems like 100 Thieves are equalizing at least in this round.
Cover going
Still 2 guns left in the hands of Cloud9 though. And Bang under pressure. Cryo's close by, but he can't really help here. Bang was left on an island.
This would be a disastrous round for 100 Thieves to lose. After Derrek gave them such an enormous opening, the spike now retrieved. And Cloud9 look like they want to work the map. I mean, these 100 Thieves players have no idea where anyone is. The only information they have is over towards C.
And B is entirely vacant.
Yeah, even for Cryo and Derrek on that angle, it's possible they could have crossed.
I don't think that flash
30
hit.
seconds left.
They have no idea that they're just ahead of it.
What an incredible timing that they found. But for Leaf and Zellsis in a 2v3, they might have to make a play before the spike gets planted. All right, Zellsis goes for it. And Leaf's looking for the pick to equalize things and make it a 2v2, make it more winnable. I like the play, but again, looking in the wrong direction.
I respect it. They leave Zellsis alone with his 38 HP left in a 1v2. The high-low a bit too much as they continue to scale forward. Zellsis happy to play time and try to isolate the gunfights. It's just too much.
That's a big round.
That's all for Derrek.
And Derrek also with the 2 kills through the smoke. Looking very reminiscent of Asuna's spray kills through the smoke as well. And I don't want to put it like this necessarily, but 40% of 100 Thieves rounds have just been spams through smokes. So, you know, maybe...
If it works.
Yeah, just spam a bit better, you know what?
Just spray harder, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure that those ones are as replicable, but at the same time, always worth doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's got Derrek's ult online, like you said. It might give them a foothold back into this. Cryo looks like he wants to take an aggressive angle. There's a fault line prepped here.
Waiting for contact that never comes. They should hear. I think they've made some noise. I wonder if Cryo hears where some of the pressure's coming from. And if not, that flash should give things away, or at least give an idea of where some of the initial pressure is.
This is one of the reasons that the double smoke comp is so good. At any point here, they can get back into A, because Rooney's put his Viper Orb down, and it just blocks all vision from Derrek.
Oh, and not to mention, he still has this wall. You so often see that early investment.
Sure. Look at how much map control Cloud9 have. They can see the entrance to B, they control the whole of Mound, and at any point here, can re-clear. I mean, Xeppaa waiting until the minute mark to use his Trailblazer with the Viper Orb. I mean, this really is different to the way that 100 Thieves were playing their attack side. The question is, can they convert when it matters most, when you get to the site?
I do like 100 Thieves setup here, though. They have Asuna in a really nice position, and they have the Seekers used a little bit later here. Asuna's utility should come into play.
This is wild. What a play. So far forward from Leaf.
It was a 1-for-1.
There's 30 seconds left right now. Stella
left.
falls though, and that's all the Killjoy utility down. Bang has got to hold on.
The spike is just now leaving spawn, and they've thrown a pause on it. Zellsis is going to have ult. They're going to invest the lockdown.
And they don't have time. They've got to go.
You should run.
There it is. Lockdown invested. 10 seconds left now on that ult. 14 seconds left in the round. Bang. Trying to anchor, and he does as he gets 3.
Down, C.
How the heck does Rooney win this? I don't know that he can.
He's got 4 seconds. I'm not sure he even got that. That might be a couple milliseconds off.
How? Oh, it didn't.
He didn't.
That was so close.
Incredibly close. Even then, he would have been put into a 1v3, but possibly could have been good for it. That was a scramble from Cloud9. I loved the way that they were playing the early round and the mid round, but then they couldn't make a decision about where to end up.
You think even just like the half-second hesitation on the lockdown, they scaled up and then they turned back. Oh, let's get orb, let's get ult.
Don't really understand the lockdown usage either, because it's 13 seconds for it to pop in the first place, and I don't think they had 13 seconds to spare, frankly.
That's always so sad. Whenever I see the little bear, I wonder what happened.
Yeah. It is a war zone, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you don't see too many civilians wandering around Lotus, do you?
The bustling metropolis that it is. Couple of pistols, a mixed buy for Cloud9. And Leaf's already fallen, bro. Bang is warming up.
He definitely is. You're starting to see why he's the highest rated player on 100 Thieves so far in Americas. And meanwhile, Cryo is providing a lot of passive value here by just picking that operator and locking down C.
And this is Cryo, right? Like, this is where he's comfortable. You often get different varieties of jets. There's aggressive playmaking, or there's just lockdown jets, and this is the flavor that Cryo tends to play.
Speaking of lockdowns, that kind of stops the B pivot, and I think that's what Cloud9 were looking for.
Tap on the door, they funnel through. They are going to commit here with 45 seconds left. No doubt about it. Dude, Bang is just locking things down. Remember, Bang in this, what's now a 3v1 here, Xeppaa with nothing but a frenzy drops. Remember, those types of plays are what really felt like the Bang party, right? Like the arrival of Bang. I have so many memories of him locking down sites on Ascent by himself. 2Ks, 3Ks during their LCQ run. That's vintage Bang. We just saw it in the last few rounds.
But 100 Thieves have a big one coming up here. Cloud9 with rifles back in hand and a lot of ults to work with. The only one that's really that relevant, though, is Rooney's. If they can get into a good position, Viper's Pit, it's going to make 100 Thieves kind of retake setups very difficult.
You say that, but we saw in the previous half, Jake, with a very aggressive ult as well. Given the nature of the map, I wonder if there's a little bit more room for playmaking here with that ult, but we'll see.
Possibly. You see Jake immediately taking the teleport over to the back of Rubble. Cryo getting set up over towards C, too. So Cryo is going to be out of these rounds, completely, you know, having no sizable impact in the fragging unless Cloud9 decide to go back over there.
And the money, too. I mean, that op it's expensive.
Oh, Bang getting spammed through the tree, and there's their star player gone. There's the pit on site.
Anchor down. Here we go. Asuna dumping util. Yeah, forcing Rooney to reposition. Still plenty of time here, though, for them to navigate this.
What? How did he get that?
He might get a second. He is going to get a second.
Unreal.
The op that you mentioned that was on the opposite side of the map now just has to sit quietly on the sidelines. Perhaps try to save the weapon, and yeah, there's plenty of bankroll on the side of 100 Thieves, but...
And what a great read, honestly, from Cloud9. Something that I think will go under the radar a bit here. All of the rounds, I mean, a lot of the rounds prior to when 100 Thieves had an op on board, they were going trending towards C, taking that control, knowing that there was only rifles for the defenders. And now that there's potential for an operator, now that that's in Cryo's hands, they go towards A, the last couple of rounds, knowing that even if Cryo is trying to op there, he's going to be cut off by Viper walls. There's no way that Cryo's going to be able to get a good angle over on A. So they're just playing avoid Cryo.
You wonder here, too. This is where some of the mind games come into play, right? You just spotted where Cryo was, right? You assume that he was in C because you haven't seen him the last 2 rounds. Then you confirm him at the end of that round. Yeah, he was playing on that side. Do you push into C? Does Cryo swap over to A, given where some of the hits have gone?
But like I'm saying, where does Cryo play on A? Where he gets around the Viper wall that Rooney is throwing.
Or the home smoke,
Is he trying to walk through the Viper wall, get a shot off, and dash away? That's a bit crazy aggressive for a player like Cryo. He normally takes the safer angles and really relies on his team to set him up with a lot of that util. If they're going to try and post Cryo on A, it would have to be because they're util dumping massively at the beginning of the round. And I think that's part of what they'll be discussing in this timeout here. Getting Mike's input and trying to have that discussion, Doug. What should we be doing to get more value out of Cryo's op? Sure, we know they're not C on these rounds. That doesn't help us defend A.
No, not at all.
At least it hasn't been so far.
15 seconds left in this conversation for 100 Thieves. They find themselves down 4. We talked about it at the beginning of the half. What can they do with Cryo? Should be more comfortable here. And as you were mentioning, Josh, they've just navigated away from him. They haven't bothered challenging him. We'll see what they do this time around. We'll also take a look at what ults are available and weaponry. Seems like it's a bit of a interesting buy here. Xeppaa, maybe if Rooney buys for him, we'll be able to, bring a rifle in.
Yeah, Rooney definitely should be buying for him. Don't worry, they won't forget.
This is fine.
Don't worry. They definitely didn't forget. Oh, there we go. So Cryo is going to try and op a really passive angle towards A, and I just don't quite understand how this is going to work. Look at all of the Viper utility up in his face.
Yeah,
he doesn't know where people are going to peek from. And at any point here, he might just have a sky flash in his face. There's another smoke. You know, how is he getting the value here? He is going to have to hit something really solid on a very small angle as Cloud9 get into the site. This is where Cryo's tested.
Not even just small. Presumably aggressive as well. I don't know that he can just continue to play this far back, but...
This is a nice position for him to be playing, though. He can dodge flashes from here. He has his updraft to be able to get out.
I've got your
Waiting for the swing position given away. Now Cloud9, do you choose to challenge or rotate off?
Cloud9 avoid it. They're playing avoid Cryo. Get out of the way of the orb.
It's working. It's worked so far. A plan on B from Xeppaa.
And all of that effort to get Cryo in a better position. And now he's got to retake again with the operator online.
We saw how ineffective that was previously. Can they find more success here? The paranoia is traded, and the one from the attacking side seemed to hit a whole lot more. But they start to flood out. They start to take some of the space back. This chaos. There's so much utility here from, there it is, Asuna's flash.
But also look at Rooney. He's reflanked. He pushed the breakable door, and now he's coming around behind them. Could he be the difference maker?
The timing's everything. Yeah, he gets 2. Another round for Cloud9 as they get to map point.
What a play. And once more, it's one of their players that's new to the roster. Rooney with the big brain IGL lurk, and also directing his team perfectly away from 100 Thieves' efforts to spear them on the tip of the operator. It's just been excellent stuff from Cloud9. And Rooney's timing on this, it couldn't be better. He avoided that massive clash over at the breakable door, pivots around, goes through the defender's spawn to be able to get that flank off. It's just gorgeous.
Cloud9 looking to deliver the final hit onto 100 Thieves on Lotus. The Rolling Thunder gonna divide remaining members of Cloud9, but also is falling here as well. Oh god!
Whoa, what's going on there? Omen battle in the middle of A. Maybe that could be decisive. If Ban can hold on and deliver a bit more.
But the spike's not even there.
No, I think they're just gonna pivot away.
But look at where they've left Leaf. Any kill he gets here is icing on the cake.
Info.
Go, go, go.
That's great from Leaf. It still makes it feel like there's presence over towards A. Draws out the Trailblazer as well. Cloud9 are making this feel like there's a lot of presence over on the A side of the map. And instead, they're crunching towards B.
Blinded.
They also just hit the door between B and C. So many mind games being played here. Where is the hit going to end up? Lockdown infested B.
That's off the back of an orb.
I got the
Derrek,
spot.
if he can find an entry, spamming through a smoke, would have his Seekers online, but he's forced away from the angle as the lockdown comes through.
Ult used by Leaf. Spike planted by Xeppaa. Note how weak Bang is, and he's going to be one of the ones on the flank. Derrek looking for the first angle, not able to deliver. Bang, 45 HP, 0 HP now. As Stellar's left in a 1v4 to save the map, and he cannot. Cloud9, once again, find themselves up 1-0 in the series.
What an expert display of Cloud9, picking a great map, adjusting their Lotus composition, and outplaying 100 Thieves. Runi as well, outcalling Stellar. What a great start to the series, but we've seen Cloud9 in these positions before. They went up 1-0 against Loud, and they ended up crumbling map 2 and map 3.
You can't help but wonder if that's going to be a bit of the same, but I want to go back to what you were mentioning around Runi in a lot of ways out-calling Stellar, even late into the game, right? You expect an IGL with the experience of Stellar to, as the game goes on, get more comfortable, right? Get a better read on what's going on and start to adapt accordingly, but Runi just out-called him.
I think he did in the first half, Stellar.
Yeah,
I think he did a decent job adapting, but then when the half swapped, he had to start all over again. And the prep work just looks a lot better from Cloud9. Also, shouldn't be avoided, Jake having his best performance I think we've seen from him in a map in Americas, at least the best one that I've seen. How is Jake, the collegiate player, out, getting more impact than Bang? I mean, that was not on anyone's bingo card, I don't think.
No, absolutely not. And the crazy thing is, you're right, it was Rudy who's been delivering that way, but Jake getting in on the action, 16 and 12, and also a pedestrian 17 assists. 17!
Yeah,
more assists than he had kills. Either way, Cloud9 take down 100 Thieves in the opening map of this best of 3. It's set on the other side of this break. We'll be right back.
Missing out on playoffs. That's how important this game is. 100 Thieves cannot allow this one to slip through their fingers, and they're already off to a bad start. They've got to battle back. I'm looking at the buy here. There's a Sheriff on both sides on the pistol. Runi has one, and so does Asuna.
That's what you'd expect, right?
Yeah, very normal. Very normal.
Not Cryo, not Leaf, no. Runi and Asuna. We'll see who wins that out. As first tags go through, Cryo's taking a little bit of damage. Oh, that flash is good, but the counter flash is better. It provides just enough time for Leaf to get out, and now they push forward. Runi gets the first with the Sheriff, though.
Yeah, Runi was playing in that back side area where he could actually wall bang. Asuna's come around the side as well. It settles for a moment into a 3v3 until Derrek landed that shot. Cloud9 have cleared out B main, so they know that these players are on site. Can they break it?
Here.
They're so weak. Silence across the side as Bang's head spotted. Xeppaa waiting, no flash, nothing to go around. All you have is Zellsis' turret. Oh, and the ping pong is so good, but they've left
Everyone's
Zellsis
so
alone.
weak.
The clear is there. He's got a shot at it. The pre-fire. Derrek patient on the swing. Takes a step back, and Zellsis gets the clutch.
What a horrible start for 100 Thieves. Both pistols won for Cloud9 on map 1. And now pulling that one out. A 2v3 where Zellsis is able to pick up the last 2 just purely because of damage done. I don't think he's winning that if both of those players are healthy.
The last one was labored. I think you're absolutely right.
But the fact that he's able to take it with such confidence because he knows he only needs to land a certain hit, a single hit. And this now puts 100 Thieves in a rough position. They went 8-4 up on their attack half against Sentinels in the game that they inevitably lost. And they're going to force here. They got the plant down, they got 4 kills, a lot of money. Gonna be invested.
Early too.
That might make it look just like a default.
So much utility being invested into the small area of the map. And Jake has more. Paranoia feeling some of the pressure. Stays though, hasn't repositioned. Oh, it's because of the flash! So much.
A lot of counter spam.
A look at Xeppaa swinging out Jake as well. They've gone hunting, they know what they want. Xeppaa with 3 on the round. Ooh, that's a clean transfer from Derrek though.
But with 25 health left, what can he do?
And a 1v2 as well. He still has some time, he has a spike, sure, but Runi's waiting. Just on the other side. That was close. Getting whatever he can here. Derrek 1 point away from the 100 series.
Gun here.
Guaranteed to get it for next round, but I don't see how he's going to win this one. Oh, the shot dart almost. And he's been wary of this flank the entire time. But now as Zellsis creeps around, Runi lands another shock.
You got to give him respect for staying alive as long as he did with 25 HP. But yeah, the shock dart ultimately cleaning things up and getting Cloud9 too.
And what a disastrous opening to this. 100 Thieves did not look good on their defense side the last time that they played Ascent. They only won 4 rounds on a map that is the most defense-sided in the pool currently in the Americas. They got all of their results by going 8-4 up on the attack half. And unless they pull out some magic with the Sheriffs here, it's looking like they're 3-0 down to begin.
4 Sheriffs, no armor on Cryo.